Hey guys, my name's Amy and today I wanted to do a bit of a separate and repot of this collection of lipstick plants here, but first I wanted to show you a couple of new plants that I've got. The first plant that I picked up, and I think it's the first plant that I bought this year, I got it about a month ago, is this Hoya Croniana, this really splashy one. And I do already have this plant as cuttings, and usually I don't tend to buy two of the same plant, but I thought with Hoya they tend to be so slow growing, at least for the first couple of years, that I couldn't resist getting another one, and I will end up combining both of these together. I just want to give this one a bit of time to settle in, and they're also both currently putting off some lovely new growth. I don't know, I doubt you're going to be able to see, but there's a little new stem coming in here with that one, and this one here, maybe you can see that tiny new leaf there, and again there are some new stems popping up all throughout the plant. So really excited to have found that. I think it was only $6.99. Yeah, $6.99, which is probably less than what I paid for this cutting. So to get to have what feels more like a proper plant than some kind of awkward looking cuttings, definitely worth it for me. So I'm excited to get to combine those two at some point in the near future. And the other plant I got, which I only got yesterday and I'm very excited about, it's this peperomia. I'm not entirely sure exactly what kind of peperomia, because there is a few that look like this. You've got the beetle peperomia, the parallel peperomia, the perescifolia, there might be an angulata as well, that all kind of resemble this a little bit. Some of them have more obvious venation, some of them have less obvious venation. So if you know exactly what one this is, I'd really love to know, because it doesn't say on the pot. Peperomia Smith collection. So I don't know exactly what kind, but I've been looking for a peperomia like this for a long time, and although they're not rare by any means, they're quite common, they just don't seem to pop up in garden centres very often. And I also picked this one up because I have lost a lot of peperomia lately due to thrips. I think I got to the point where I realised I wasn't able to keep on top of it anymore, and it was a lot of my peperomias that were getting affected weirdly. So I've had to throw quite a few of them away, but this one I thought would hopefully be similar to the Peperomia Hope, which hasn't been affected at all. So this one has got such thick leaves, I just don't think it'll be that attractive to thrips, hopefully, but I love how dark and glossy those leaves are. Really happy with that one, and that was $7.99, which again, not too bad for quite a big plant. The last thing I want to show you is a plant pot that I found in a charity shop yesterday as well. The Hoya Crimson Queen isn't new, but look at this. It's a beautiful vintage brass hanging pot, and I just think it's stunning. I think it looks really pretty with the Crimson Queen in it at the moment, which is also putting off some really cute pink new growth. But it was only £3 and I couldn't leave it. Just look, I love how it looks when it catches the light. It had all of its original chains, and compared to the sort of plastic ones that I'm using at the moment, this is so much prettier and not much heavier. She could be barking at a delivery driver, I don't know. I'm waiting on a delivery of her food, and I've been putting off filming this, waiting for it to come, but it hasn't, and it's now late, so I just figured I may as well get started, but we might get interrupted. But yeah, really gorgeous. I love it with the Crimson Queen. I've got lots of cuttings of it going at the moment as well, so when I get to put all them together, Bucky, it's okay. I've got lots of cuttings of the Crimson Queen Hoya at the moment, so when I get to put them all together, that is going to look really good. And yeah, can't remember what I said now, Piper barking. It's not much heavier than the plastic pots, so the fact that it is so prettier to look at, so much nicer to look at, but isn't gonna possibly rip the curtain pole off the wall. Really happy with that, and we'll be keeping my eye out for more. But yes, what I want to do today, I've got this mixed pot of lipstick plants. There's some of the Mona Lisa, we've got some of the curly lipstick plant, and then a couple others, I think a variegated one and possibly another, but one, I don't really think they look all that good combined. Look, we've got some beautiful blooms going, but two, especially with the curly lipstick plant, I think it's struggling all in a mixed pot like this because they need watering at different times, so I'm leaving it for when the Mona Lisa needs watering, but that's a bit too long for the curly one and possibly a couple of others. There's a lot of dried up leaves, quite a few of the curly lipstick plant stems just died off, so I think we need to separate them. I've got a bunch of pots here in different sizes to see what ones we need once I can look at the roots. But yeah, that is what I want to get done today. I think I watered these fairly recently, which is a bit annoying. I wouldn't typically repot them until they were dry, but we're gonna see how we go. So I've got a bowl here to capture all the soil. I'll just be reusing the oiled soil, and then I've got a tray down here as well to pop all of the plants on, so I can separate them, get them potted up into separate pots. I'm hoping, I think there are some little cuttings of a different lipstick plant in here that I can put in my teacup plant pot, which I'm really excited about because I love this. I think it's really cute. But yeah, let's start getting these out. Don't want to make too much mess because we've moved a rug back in here now, which is obviously harder to get soil off. I'll have to go and get the hoover versus just a dustpan. Okay, there's still a bit of soil in there, which I'll get in a minute. I'm going to start getting the cuttings out. Yeah, see, that is such a tiny root system that this was just getting way too dry. It probably killed off a lot of the roots it had because I wouldn't have planted it quite like this. But I think, what kind is this? It's not the, I'm not sure what kind of lipstick plant this is. I had a big one. I ended up taking some cuttings and selling the larger one. So yeah, this is going to go in a separate, smaller pot with whatever other ones we have. There's another bit there that's a bit bigger, still a very small root system, but a very cute little lipstick plant. And there, like you can see, lots of this happened. So I lost quite a few stems of the curly one, but there's still loads in here, so that is fine. We've just got a lot of dead leaves to try and get out of the soil. This is my first video in quite a while. We had just a lot on over Christmas. We both got COVID, and that was fine, but then it just felt like things went a bit mad after then. Oh no, that doesn't look like it's got any roots. That's a bit of the variegated one. It looks kind of reverted now, but yeah, that's not ideal. One of those things, Piper, bless her, she got diagnosed with hypothyroidism, which means an underactive thyroid. We hadn't really noticed anything. We were more on the lookout for Cushing's because over a year ago that got spiked as a possible thing for her. She had high cortisol levels, but I think we've established that that's just because she's a stressy dog, so especially when she's in the vets, cortisol's a stress hormone, that's why those levels are high. But we ended up doing about 3 different Cushing's tests, and she was falling in the inconclusive range in all of them. And other than the high cortisol, she wasn't showing any symptoms. Those symptoms can be drinking and peeing more regularly, they get quite a bloated belly, and they can lose patches of fur. So she didn't have any of that, but we took her to the groomers in November, and we'd noticed that she didn't really look ready for the groomers. Like, her fur didn't look like it had grown as much as it usually did, but then the groomer, once they cut away some of the fur on her tail, they found a bald patch. So the groomer flagged it as possible Cushing's again. We obviously recognised it as one of the things to look out for in terms of the losing patches of fur. Took her to the vet to get her retested, and our vet suggested testing her for hypothyroidism, which we did, and thankfully that's what it came back as. That's a lot easier to deal with than Cushing's. That's just medication to regulate their thyroid. I believe the regular numbers they want it to fall in is something like between 13 and 59. I don't know what that means, that's just what we got told on the phone. Her levels were at a 6, so really low, and we started her on a medication, and with thyroid levels, at least in dogs, I don't really know anything about how it is in humans, but it's quite hard to guess off the bat what their dose should need to be. because it can react differently in all dogs. So we started her on one dose for 3 weeks, and then you get it tested to see if it's brought it up to the right level. We started her on this thyroid medication, and she wasn't like lethargic or slow or like sleepy or anything before the medication started, but afterwards she went absolutely nuts. She didn't stop. She had this constant like crazy look in her eye. She was like constantly very switched on. I don't know how else to word it. So when we brought her back to get her levels retested, they had now shot up to a 79, from 6 to 79, about 20 thyroid points. God, yeah, no roots. About 20 points above what the max sort of typical level should be. So we've reduced her medication. It's now at a 41, and we'll get her tested again in the next month or so to see if it's sort of stabilized, because 41's good. That's in the range we want it to be. So although she's not as hyperactive as she was when her thyroid went way too high, she's still very hyper. I don't know how else to word it. And it sort of changed her behaviour, bless her, a little bit, where she like, I don't know how to word it. We've tried longer walks, we play with her a lot more, we try and tire her out, but she just doesn't really get tired anymore. And so where I've not been filming it is partly because we've just had a lot of other stuff going on, and partly because trying to sit and do something like during the day, regardless whether it's cleaning, cooking, filming, has been a little bit hard because she's had so much more energy. She's needed a lot more attention. Hopefully all that makes sense. So we've got a trainer in who's going to come in the next few days to try and help us manage some of it, because it's not maintainable, I guess is the right word, for her to need as much hands-on attention throughout the day as she has been since the new medication. But it's interesting, it's more of a thing here. She doesn't really do it at my parents'. It's sort of just very consistent barking, which obviously isn't ideal for us or our neighbours or anything like that. I don't like that she's worked up in any way. So hopefully the trainer can help with that. We called him a while ago, and he gave us some advice of things to try over the phone, which we did. And at first it started working, but what quite often happens with Piper, she's quite savvy, it's just sort of turned into, she knows even more now that in order to be rewarded for good behaviour, she has to do the bad behaviour. So it's almost just increased it even more. That's a very long-winded story of why I haven't filmed in the last few months, is because I found it quite hard to, one, have the time with other things going on, and two, the peace to do it. She seems to be doing a lot better me filming in here versus in the other room where I usually do. So yeah, none of these have the best root systems. I really hope separating them improves that. And I also want to take some cuttings of the Mona Lisa to try and fill that out a bit more, because it's got some massive leaves on it. But yeah, all that to say that that's why I haven't filmed in a long time. I did try and sit down a couple times, but it was just consistently being barked at, so I didn't. And I thought I'd try today, as I wanted to get this done. And she'd been sleeping upstairs actually. That's the last piece of Mona Lisa. That tray isn't quite big enough, so I might need to bring out the Mona Lisas and pot them first before I can start dividing up the little cuttings and the curly ones. So just these 3 pieces. Oh no, there's a 4th piece. There we go. I think that's all the Mona Lisa. Yeah. Try my best not to get soil on the floor. Let's have a look and see what size pot we need. Maybe this one. I think that looks about right. So very relieved that it wasn't Cushing's, and that it is something so manageable with her thyroid. That's a lot more, you know, they're just on medication, that otherwise it doesn't really have an effect on them. Otherwise it is just managing, I guess, new pups, new Piper, with her newfound energy levels. It's been a bit of an adjustment. It's been really lovely to see her so bouncy. It's like she's a puppy again. It's really, really cute, and it makes me really happy. It's just made getting stuff done during the day a little bit harder. So yeah, hopefully we have some good results with the trainer. He sounded great over the phone. It's just that she's so clever. Everything we've tried with the sort of barking and I said it's demand barking. I think sometimes it's triggered by if she sees something outside, and then it turns into demand barking, but sometimes it's just we come home from a walk and immediately she's barking at me for something. We've tried the quiet command. She knows exactly what it means, but she knows that in order to be told to be quiet, she has to bark. And what we've been trying is the place command. So instead of it being associated with her barking, it's just that she learns that she has a place that she goes to, which is her little bed down there, and she just has to stay there for a bit. And we were doing really well with that, but somehow she just figured out that in order to trigger the training, so like time that we'd do during the day where we'd sit and do it for a little while, that she would bark at me again for that. So there we go, that's the Mona Lisa all potted up. It looks really nice and full. I'm going to pop that in here, this cute little pot from my grandparents that I've had for a little while now. It's got this cute like splashy pattern on it, really pretty. I think I will take some cutting soon so that I can get an even fuller plant of this going. But yes, that is number one. I'm really hoping I'm not going to have to mix up more soil. So next we'll do the curly lipstick plants, and I'm hoping they'll go in one of these because they haven't got big root systems, so they shouldn't need too much space. Just start separating them out from all the other cuttings. I could put a bit of soil in the bottom of this, that's actually good, nice. I think I am going to end up needing more soil. I've run out of orchid bark. Well, I ran out ages ago and I haven't bought any more. I'm going to do a soil ninja order probably after this, because my mum also has a lot of houseplants that need repotting, so I think we'll do a big order and split it between the two of us. Gather all these up. I'm hoping that we can get on top of the barking and all of that during the day, and that I'll be able to start making videos more consistently again, because I really enjoy it. I love having a reason to talk about my plants even more. So I really want to be able to get back into it. Some of it wasn't all Piper, obviously. I don't want it to sound like I'm, you know, some of it was personal stuff as well, that just meant my headspace wasn't really in it with videos or even plants, just like anything. That a lot of that has been solved and isn't weighing on me anymore, so my sort of passion's back a bit again, which is really nice. And also just the worrying about Piper. This Cushing's thing had been over our heads for over a year, or about a year when the thyroid diagnosis came up, but that had us quite worried for a little while there as well. Oh, I am going to need to make new soil. But thankfully, yeah, she's doing really good and has got this newfound puppy energy again, and it is really cute how she interacts with her toys more again. She's very happy to go on long walk. Oh no, there's more soil in here, haha. There we go, there is the curly one. That's actually looking really cute. I'm excited I've done this. I can appreciate them separately again now. These really aren't very big, but I'm going to do them in the mug. There's just, yeah, hardly any root system to them, so I don't want to overwhelm them. But I think I've lost, or not lost, I've not got a bunch of my sort of bigger pots. I've only got these, which I think will be too small, so we will use the mug one, and that's almost perfect with the amount of soil as well. So that's worked out well. Forgotten what I was saying. Yeah, she's got this newfound puppy energy and it's really cute. One of the things that we now know was a symptom of the underactive thyroid is a hesitation to cold. She wouldn't want to go out for a wee if it was remotely cold, so it was hard getting her to go out at night. And we just thought maybe she'd gotten too comfy, because she's always been quite funny where she seems to just not need a wee for ages. For such a tiny dog, we've always joked that she's got this massive bladder. But it seems to be doing really, really good things for her. Just brilliant. Our vets are brilliant as well, our vets and our groomer, the lady who pointed out the bald patch to us. Can't fault them. I feel very lucky to have such great professionals nearby to where we happen to live, that you can tell really, really care about your pets. You know, it's not like a business thing or a money thing. It's very much, they truly put their best interests at heart, your best interest at heart. So all of that's wonderful. Especially with Piper, because aside from the underactive thyroid, she has got a couple of other health issues that are managed through medication, but having such brilliant vets so close to us, it just puts our minds at ease a lot, because we know that they'll get to the bottom of stuff. She's got some gastro problems, and since changing to the vets we're at now, that's been a lot better managed. I think I don't know how to word it, that they've really just, it's just relieving to know, you know, you just feel good knowing that when she needs help, she's in the best hands. I feel like that was very rambly. There's not quite enough soil in there, so I'll top it up with some in a minute, but they're all potted up. Bit of a mess on the table, but I think I've avoided the carpet, which is great. There is the curly lipstick plant, looking really cute, really wild. Such a funky plant. It used to be absolutely massive, and it just got really bald on top after about 3 or 4 years of having it, so I chopped it all up and re-rooted it. But I think the fact that it's been in that mixed pot and probably not getting as often of a watering as it needed has slowed it, has meant it hasn't grown as quick as I reckon it will do, hopefully now. Really, really funky plant. I'm hoping to get it back to its former glory, because yeah, it was huge. So cool. It reminds me of like a very, very skinny version of the Hoya compactor. So if you want one of those and you can't get hold of it, maybe try the curly lipstick plant. And here is the Mona Lisa. Looking a little bit awkward, but I think it will settle in soon. I'm holding it in a really silly way. There we go. Gorgeous blooms on there as well. Lipstick plants are such prolific bloomers. I've got another one, the Black Pagoda one, which I'll show you, to be fair, while we're looking at all my other ones, that blooms so heavily. But this one is pretty frequent as well. Looking really good. I reckon I will take some cuttings maybe once it's done blooming, so that I can fill out this pot as well. I'll show you that Black Pagoda one. Oh, here it is, absolutely massive now, doing really well. It's just done blooming loads. There was tons and tons of blooms on here, so I'm hoping now that that seems to have stopped, it will continue pushing out new growth, because these are starting to get heavy enough to where they're properly trailing down now. And I think once this starts to get even longer, that is going to look absolutely gorgeous. So very excited about that. And this is the last of those little cuttings. I just want to pop a little bit of soil in the top, just to fill it out slightly. But that is a variegated, I don't know if I showed these very well actually, I got distracted. A variegated lipstick plant, which I think is this piece and this piece, and then a couple of, oh no, that's variegated as well, and then whatever this one is. None of them have very good root systems, so we'll see how they get on. They were obviously chugging away fine in soil before, but hopefully if they start getting more regular waterings, they will push off new roots. Otherwise I could put them back in my prop box. That's the other thing I could do. I don't know. I'll decide. I'll see how they get on in here for now before I go disturbing them again. But yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, we've lost a little bit. We'll put that in the prop box. So I had a little curly lipstick snap off. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry if I was a bit rambly. Hopefully I worded it all understandably with why I haven't really done any videos lately. But she's been very good this time around. She's just sleeping on the sofa. Very, very cute. Where is she? There she is. We got a new sofa as well, which I'm really happy with. It looks like moss. I think it's really cool. So yeah, very good girl. Thank you for letting me film. Thank you, baby. You're such a good girl. If you like this video and you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe. I'm gonna try and be a bit more consistent with posting again. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.